Okay, so, we're diving into some really interesting stuff you sent over about this whole answer engine optimization thing.
AEO.
Yeah,
Oh,
AEO.
right.
It's a lot to wrap your head around, especially with how fast things change online, right?
Right.
Like just when you think you've got a handle on how to find stuff,
Hmm.
it all changes again.
It really does feel that way sometimes.
So we're going to break it all down today.
Hmm.
Really get into what AEO is and why everyone's making such a fuss about it and how it all ties back to everything else we've talked about.
Yeah, and we'll try to do it without all the usual jargon too, cut right to the chase.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, what everyone wants to know is how do we stay visible online? Like, how do we make sure people can actually find us amidst all this crazy AI stuff?
Absolutely.
Right.
And your sources pointed to some pretty big players in this game, right? Like Google's SGE, for example.
Right. In Bing AI.
ChatGPT, even things like
Oh,
Alexa.
yeah. Voice search. Totally.
It's all connected.
So all of these are examples of what we're calling answer engines, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So mission one, I guess, is to define our terms.
Sure.
What is AEO? And then there's this other thing, GEO, generative engine optimization. How are these different from good old SEO? And why should we even care?
Okay, well, let's start with AEO, answer engine optimization.
Mm-hmm.
At its core, it's all about making sure your content is set up in a way that these answer engines can understand it.
So is it kind of like translating for the AI?
Exactly. You want Google SGE or Bing AI or even ChatGPT to be able to look at your content and pull out the exact answer someone's looking for.
Okay, so instead of just getting a page full of links like we used to,
Mm-hmm.
now these systems are actually supposed to give you the answer directly from the content itself.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that's where GEO comes in, generative engine optimization. This is where things get even more complex because now we're talking about AI that can actually synthesize information.
So not just grabbing one piece of text.
Right. It's taking information from multiple sources and putting it together into one really comprehensive answer.
Oh, wow. So it's like AEO is trying to be the answer, and GEO is about making sure you're contributing to that bigger picture.
Right.
And both of them are kind of bypassing the traditional website visit in a way.
Potential, yes. I mean, it really does change the game when you think about it.
It's a huge shift.
Yeah.
So let's talk marketing then.
Okay.
If AEO is all about becoming the go-to answer, what does that mean for how we actually do marketing?
Well, for starters, it means we need to be thinking about how to create content that directly answers the questions our audience is asking.
Makes sense.
And we need to do it in a way that's clear, concise, and easy for those answer engines to understand.
Right, so no more burying the lead.
Exactly. You want to be the ultimate source of information for your niche. So when someone asks a question about your area of expertise, your content is the one that pops up.
So what are some of the specific tactics marketers should be using? Your sources mentioned a few things that really stood out to me.
Yeah, well, the first one that comes to mind is structure. Using clear headings, subheadings, bullet points, things like that. It's like organizing your thoughts.
Exactly. And it makes it easier for both humans and AI to scan the content and find the key takeaways.
That makes sense.
What else? FAQs are also super important now. Having a dedicated FAQ section on your site where you directly answer common questions is a great way to signal to those answer engines that you've got the info people are looking for.
And you're also showing that you're anticipating their needs.
Right. And then there's schema markup. Have you heard of that?
Vaguely.
So schema markup is basically a way to add structured data to your website. It helps the search engines and the answer engines understand what your content is about. The context, the meaning behind the words.
So it's like giving them the Cliffs Notes version.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It helps build that trust and authority with the AI.
Cool. And the sources also talked about using conversational language,
Right.
like writing how people actually talk.
AI is getting really good at understanding natural language, so if you can write in a way that sounds like a real conversation, it'll help you connect with those answer engines even better. So it's not just about keywords anymore. It's about understanding the intent behind the search.
Exactly. Like if someone searches for apple pie recipe, do they want a quick and easy version or a detailed gourmet recipe? Semantic search helps us figure that out.
Wow, so much to think about. And of course, we can't forget about EAT.
Right. Experience, expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness, that's always going to be crucial.
Because ultimately, we want the AI to look at our content and say, yep, this is the most reliable answer out there.
Exactly.
So let's talk about the big question then, AEO versus SEO.
Okay.
Your sources had this really helpful side-by-side comparison that I thought really laid it all out.
Right, I remember that.
So traditional SEO is all about keywords, right? Getting those rankings on the search engine results page.
Yeah.
And AEO is more about making sure your content actually answers the questions people are asking.
Right, providing that context and making sure the AI can understand and use it.
So with SEO, we were doing things like optimizing meta titles and descriptions, building backlinks, even worrying about the length of our content.
All those technical things.
Yeah. And now with AEO, it's more about clarity structure,
Mm.
making sure the content is semantically relevant.
Mm. Making sure it actually answers the intent.
And it's interesting because the target is different too, right? Like SEO was all about those traditional search engines, Google, Bing, et cetera.
Yeah.
But AEO is specifically designed to work with these newer answer engines and AI platforms.
That's right.
And ultimately, the outcome is different too. SEO is about driving clicks to your website.
Getting those visitors.
But with AEO, a lot of times, the goal is to have your content featured directly in the AI's response.
You might not even get the click.
Right. But you're still the source of the answer.
Exactly. And as your source put it, SEO gets you seen, AEO gets you selected.
I love that. Okay, so big question time. Is SEO dead?
Oh gosh, no.
Should we just throw out everything we know?
At all. AEO isn't replacing SEO, it's more like redefining it.
Okay.
Those foundational SEO tactics like keyword research and link building, they're still important.
So it's not starting from scratch.
No, it's building on what we already know. AEO is an evolution. It's about pushing ourselves to go beyond just rankings and really focus on how well our content answers those questions.
It makes you think about the value you're providing.
Absolutely. And with more and more people getting their answers directly from featured snippets and voice assistants, we need to be prepared for a world where visibility doesn't always mean a click.
So you might not get that website visit.
Right. But you're still there. You're
Fine.
still the authority.
Okay, so for someone listening to this who's thinking, all right, I'm on board with AEO, but where do I even begin? What are some concrete steps they can take?
Well, the first thing is to really understand what people are searching for. Use tools like Also Asked or Answer the Public. Even just look at the People Also Asked section on Google.
So do your research.
Exactly. Don't guess. Find out what questions your audience is actually asking.
And then what?
Schema markup. Use it liberally. Add it to your articles, your product pages, your FAQs, everywhere.
We talked about that a little bit ago.
Right. It helps those answer engines understand your content, so the clearer you can make it for them, the better.
It's like making your content AI friendly.
Exactly. And then simplify your writing. Break down complex topics into bite-sized chunks that are easy to scan and understand.
For both humans and AI.
Right. And don't forget about those FAQs. Having a comprehensive FAQ section is crucial for AEO.
It's like the most direct way to answer those common questions.
Exactly. And when you're writing those answers, write like you're talking to a friend. Use conversational language. Be natural.
Okay, so less formal, more human.
Exactly.
And one last thing that I think is so important, stay informed. This whole AI landscape is changing so rapidly.
It really is.
So keep up with the latest updates from Google, Bing, OpenAI, all the major players.
Because what works today might not work tomorrow.
Exactly. So looking ahead then, what do you think the future of search looks like? Your sources had some interesting predictions.
Yeah, they did. It seems like everything's moving towards a more conversational search experience. Less typing, more talking, more natural interactions.
Like we're already seeing with voice search.
Exactly. And AI is going to be even more deeply integrated into everything. We'll probably see more multimodal search too.
Multimodal?
Yeah, so instead of just typing in a text query, you might be able to use a combination of text, voice, image, even video to search.
Wow, that's kind of mind-blowing.
It is. And while SEO will still be important, it's going to need to adapt even further. We'll need to focus even more on semantic relevance and content authenticity. And of course, the technical foundations have to be rock solid.
It's like everything we've been doing, but amplified.
Exactly. And AEO is only going to become more crucial as we move forward. Brands are going to be competing to be that first and best answer across all these different platforms and devices.
So it's not just about being on page 1 of Google anymore.
It's about being the go-to source of information everywhere.
I like that. So to sum it all up for our listener today,
Yeah.
we're talking about a fundamental shift in how we think about online visibility. It's not enough to just be found anymore. We need to be the answer,
The best answer.
right? And AEO is how we do that.
And remember, this isn't just a fad. This is a major transformation in how we access and consume information.
It's the future.
Yeah.
And your source asked a really thought-provoking question that I think we'll leave our listener with today. Are you ready to be the answer they're looking for?
Because the world is asking.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. It's been fascinating.
My pleasure.
Until next time.
See you then.